everything we do for showers at Eastside Glass is custom made, custom ordered for the homeowner's opening for their bathroom. So we don't have a bunch of stock size ones on hand. We're custom ordering. And so what we like to do, and we almost have an unwritten rule that says that if we're going to do a shower for you, we're going to come out, we're going to measure it, and we're going to bid it installed. Not to say we won't supply only for a customer, but there's a lot of things that can go wrong when measuring a shower door. Our residential project manager, he'll go on site and he measures these openings. And so some are just a simple single door, some are just a straight across opening. Some have a 90-degree glass return, some have benches, some have half walls. So he'll throw a laser up and then he measures from that laser. And so what we're looking for when we measure is, the vast majority of the time there's going to be glass made out of square. Because if the opening's even 3/16 out of whack, we're going to make the glass to follow that, because the gaps and the tolerances are very small on heavy glass showers. And the other thing we look for is if the walls are plumb, if they lean in or out. So that's why we like to measure for it. We also look for other things like where the shower heads are, where there might be jets. We look at the curb at the bottom. Is that angled into your shower or is it angled out? It just helps us figure out where the potential problem areas would be for a homeowner. So we really try hard to identify any issues and point them out, at the beginning. So another thing we look for when we measure showers is the tiling. We want to make sure that there's wood backing behind the tile where we anchor, especially the doors, because it just can't take the weight of the heavy panels without. One thing we look for is tile inconsistency. So if you have a tile on one wall that's just bumped out, say 3/16, a quarter of an inch, we'll look for that, because that's going to affect how we make our glass, because that whole piece of glass is either going to have to be shrunk or made out of square to avoid that. Sometimes we come and there's a bull nose or a decorative tile or something sticking out that we have to avoid. So there's a lot of different things, we look for when we measure to try to identify, issues before they become problems.